Okay, guys, we're live, we're live, we're live, we're live, we're live, we're live. Hey, guys, it's Old Man G here, back again. With breaking news, breaking news. I had to go live. I had to go live with this because this is literally breaking within the last 30 minutes, hour or so. And this is the breaking news. Manchester City have been banned from the UEFA Champions League for the next 2 seasons by UEFA. Let me repeat that. Manchester City have been banned from the Champions League by UEFA for the next 2 seasons. And this has huge repercussions. It's going to be quite a bit of a show. It has huge repercussions for obviously Manchester City, for the Champions League, obviously for the Premier League, and obviously, as I'll be covering it, for Manchester City as well. This is a big, for me, show. I'll phone you because there's going to be a bit of an issue with that. Sorry. But this is big. This is really, really big. And I mean, just quickly, before we go into the nitty gritty of the whole issue, if you're new to the channel, please like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Follow us on Twitter, United X, and smash that notification button for the latest Manchester United news. So I'll just show the article here and I'll just read it here. So as I said, the title here, Manchester City banned from European club competitions for 2 seasons by UEFA. Manchester City have been banned from European club competition in 2020-2021, so that's next year and the year after being found to have committed serious breaches of UEFA's club licensing and financial fair play regulations. Now, we've known for a long, long time, and to be honest, I don't even know why it's taken this long. I mean, there are a few things. I'll read the article first, and we'll digest it. The reigning Premier League champions have also been fined 30 million euros. I mean, what is 30 million euros in this day and age? The decision is subject to the appeal to the Court of Arbitration for Sport. Manchester City say they are disappointed, but this is the key. They're disappointed but not surprised. Interesting. By the prejudicial decision and will appeal. They added in the statement, the club has always anticipated the ultimate need to seek out an independent body and process to impartially consider the comprehensive body of irrefutable evidence in support of its position. In December 2018, the UEFA chief investigator publicly previewed the outcome and sanction intended to be delivered to Man City before any investigation had even begun. The subsequent flawed and consistently leaked UEFA process he oversaw has meant that there was little doubt in the result that he would deliver. The club has formally complained to UEFA disciplinary body, a complaint which was validated by a CSS ruling. Simply put, this is a case initiated by UEFA, prosecuted by UEFA, and judged by UEFA. With the prejudicial process now over, the club will pursue an impartial judgment as quickly as possible and will therefore, in the first instance, commence proceedings with the Court of Arbitration for Sport at the earliest opportunity. So in summary for that, basically what's that saying? Mitchell, that is a yes, sorry. And Raymond Moore, that is also a yes for real. And just Adam Kerter. So essentially, that's essentially summarizing, saying that UEFA basically handed down this punishment and they will stick to this punishment. However, Manchester City will now be seeking an independent body, i.e., the Arbitration of Sport, to see if they can go, because they feel they've been discriminated against, they feel they've been prejudiced against. Unfortunately, this is real. This is coming from BBC Sports, this is from Sky Sports, all over. This is not a hoax. This is very, very real. At least for the interim right now. Shout out to you, Rasmus A. At least for the interim now, Manchester City are banned for the next 2 Champions League seasons, and this has huge implications. Now, I'll break this all into bits. So I want to end with the implications for City, for United, for Solskjaer, for the league, etc. But I think the first thing that I want to do is actually talk first and foremost about the implications actually for Manchester City. So I'll just get this up. Sorry. So yeah. So what are the implications? Sorry, for Manchester City during this whole thing. Implications for Manchester City. This is huge. This is huge. If this stands, this is huge. And why I mean this is huge because for Manchester City, especially Pep Guardiola, I'll talk about Manchester City, the club first, and then I'll talk about Pep Guardiola as well. Kabdul Kachi says, is this real? This is real. This is real. This is not a hoax. This is very, very real. BBC Sport, multiple UK outlets are covering this. This is just breaking in the last hour. This is very much real. Very, very, very real. Let me talk about the implications for Manchester City. This is huge. This is huge for Manchester City as a football club, because obviously we know Pep Guardiola is one of the most successful managers for Manchester City in recent times. And if Manchester City cannot obviously compete in the Champions League the next 2 seasons, not only will this impact their revenue stream, Manchester City as a club, it will also impact Manchester City's recruitment. I mean, who's going to want to come to Manchester City in the next 2 seasons if you know that you are not going to be getting Champions League football? So the ability for Manchester City to recruit players is now going to be diminished, because clearly Manchester City will not be able to recruit players or top quality players because of the lack of Champions League football. So that's a one big implication for City. The other thing is obviously for the league. Now, of course, I'm sure Manchester City will still go on. A lot of people ask in the comments, is this for real? Emmanuel said, might this affect PSG? I'll come to PSG in a second, actually. Axob's I'm Shadow says, is this real? It is real. It is real. It is real. I'll post the thing. This is real in the comments. This is real. It is real. There's no hoax here. But the thing is here, the key thing is here is that for Manchester City, not only would it obviously impact them financially, okay, because they're not the biggest club in England, not biggest club in the world. So this will have financial implications for them. It will have implications on their ability to actually recruit top quality players, which will inevitably impact their performance in the Premier League. Because as we know, Liverpool going flying high, Manchester City want to close the gap, and obviously that will be a it'll be a much bigger gap to close in if you can't produce CL Champions League football. Motivation for the players will go down, because what's the point in basically finishing top 4 or trying to get into top 4 unless you want to obviously win the league? If second, third, fourth now, if City didn't win the Premier League the next 2 seasons, will essentially mean absolutely nothing, because and we'll come on to the implication of the Premier League in a second, because they won't obviously be able to get Champions League football. Now, that's obviously implications for Manchester City as a football club. I want to talk about the implications for Pep. What are the implications for Pep Guardiola? Because Pep Guardiola, it's clear, and I'll just quickly, it's clear, guys, that Pep Guardiola, just go to 2 seconds, guys. I might have to change camera in a second as well. I'm going to have to change camera in a second. Sorry, apologies for these technical issues. The implications of Pep Guardiola are numerous, basically, because back to this. Yes, okay. So we're going to use this. We're going to use this face cam for now. Sorry, just because my battery in my laptop's a bit dead. Anyway, implications of Pep Guardiola. The implication of Pep Guardiola is because clearly this season has not been good for Manchester City. It's not. And there's been a lot of speculation regarding whether Pep Guardiola is actually going to remain at Manchester City after this season. He's only got 1 more year left on his contract. And the speculation is that he potentially might leave at the end of the season, possibly next season. Pep Guardiola wants to win a CL. Okay? He wants to win a CL Manchester City. If this decision stands, he will not be able to win a CL next 2 seasons, and he's not going to be at Manchester City in the third. That's the 2021-22 season. He's not going to be there. So this is the key here. So it puts pressure on Pep and Manchester City as a football club for Pep to win the CL this season. So there's huge implications for Pep Guardiola, because if Pep Guardiola does not win the CL this season, then essentially he will not have an opportunity to win a CL with Manchester City at all, unless he extends his contract with City for the next 5 years, potentially. But there's no indication that is going to be the case. The reality, though, however, is that this puts insane amount of pressure on Man City this season to win the CL. They need to win the CL this season, because they're not going to be in the Champions League next season. And the reality is, even if they win it, of course, they won't be allowed to go into Champions League for winning it, for obvious reasons. Nightcore Life says next season they'll be banned. They'll be banned. Yeah, I'm aware they'll be banned next season. That's what I'm talking about. The implications for Manchester City. The implications, the impact will have on the Premier League and all the rest of it. So we're going through bits and pieces. A few people talking about what happened to Madrid. Raymond Moore says Tuesday playing for nothing is harsh. Raymond Moore, I don't think it's harsh because the reality is that Man City brought Pep Guardiola into Man City to win the Champions League. If with the money that Man City had, what they spent, the reality is that they didn't need Pep Guardiola to win the league. They could have still won the league with a Pellegrini. Pochettino's available. They can get Pochettino. They don't need Pep Guardiola for the league. So it's gonna be huge. It's gonna be huge. And I think that this obviously is gonna really hurt Pep. Really hurt Pep because he'll consider himself a failure, potentially, if he doesn't win the CL with Manchester City this season. He has to win it this season. And I think for me, I see two things here. I see if this stands, I just can't see how Pep Guardiola is going to stay at Manchester City beyond this season. I just can't. If he does, fair play to him. But but I wouldn't be surprised, especially if they lose the CL and the Juventus, a PSG, or what have you come calling and go, yo, Guardiola, do you want to come manage us? We could potentially win the CL with you, blah, blah, blah. You know, I think that's more likely, in my opinion. So, like I said, I think this has huge implications for Pep Guardiola and for Manchester City as well. And let me know what you think in the comments, because I know a lot of you guys are saying about mentioning other teams, Real Madrid, PSG, etc. This issue here, and going back to the original article, is about financial fair play. It's about financial fair play. And Real Madrid and Barcelona, for example, are teams that generate a lot of money worldwide. It's like Manchester United. If Manchester United is spending £80 million for Maguire, there's no problem because Manchester United generate that amount of money, more than that amount of money worldwide. So we can spend that money. Manchester City can't even fill their stadium. So obviously, where they're getting the money from, they need to be making the money from the money that they actually generate, and that's basically not been the case. I see a lot of Liverpool fans going, yo, whoa. Pasty Bits Legend says, what would happen to the round of 16? It's not going to affect City this season. It is next season. So don't think it's going to be affecting City next season. That is simply not the case. Now, what I now want to go on to talk about is implications for the Premier League. Before I even talk about Manchester United and Pep, because there's so much to digest here. And thanks everyone for watching. If you're new, please share, please like. It helps the channel, helps the stream as well. I'd really appreciate it. So, implications, yes. So implications for the Premier League. What are the implications for the Premier League here? Let me show you something. Let me show everyone something which I think is very important in the context of what we're going to talk about. And this is the Premier League table. Liverpool obviously atop, we know, far ahead. Manchester City second, Leicester City third, Chelsea fourth, Sheffield United in fifth, Tottenham sixth, Everton seventh, and United eighth. Now, if this decision stands, and there's a very good chance that it will stand, this has huge implications for top four. This has very huge implications for top four, because City obviously, unless they, I don't know, even if they lose most of their games, they still probably end up finishing fourth. If City, well, they'll stay where they are in fourth, presuming they finish in the top four, which we know they will. That means that most likely the team that finishes fifth will get a CL spot. I.e., the team that finishes fifth, I'll repeat again, will get a CL spot. And so, and we'll come to talk about how this affects Manchester United, how this affects Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Clearly, right now, Sheffield United are in fifth. So, if things were to end this way this season, Liverpool, Leicester City, Chelsea, and Sheffield United would all automatically go through in the group stages of the Champions League. Sheffield United, as we can see here, have 39 points. Tottenham have 37, Everton have 36, and Manchester City have obviously 35. Wolves have 35. Suddenly now, instead of just the one Champions League spot that people are going to be fighting over Chelsea, there are potentially 2 Champions League spots available for Premier League teams. This is huge. This is very, very, very huge. Very, very huge. Terry C says they should also have their titles taken away from them for their blatant cheating. This is obviously Uefa, this European. That's a very separate organization to obviously the FA and the Premier League, who handle things differently. I don't think, as far as the FA and Premier League are concerned, they don't really care. I don't think they care at all. City, for all intents and purposes, can spend as much money as they want, provided that people just play Premier League games. Emmanuel Ramirez earlier did mention whether this will affect PSG. That is an interesting comment. I'm not sure is the question. I would have imagined that PSG would have been under a lot of investigation as well. The only thing I guess you could argue about PSG is that PSG certainly, since Mbappe, they haven't spent a lot of money on spending a lot of players. And there is an argument that, to be fair to PSG, they are the most popular French team in France. You know, so and they probably have a bit more of a worldwide popularity with like the Neymars and stuff like that, and then Mbappe's, you know, than Manchester City. So they probably, I would expect PSG, especially with the Champions League money, they generate probably more internal revenue than City do. City are not the biggest team even in England. They're not. You know, they can't even fill their stadium. You know, so. But I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something regarding PSG later down the line, because I think this financial fair play issue has been something that's been a long time coming, and I just think it should be dealt with. It should be dealt with, and for good reason too. But like I said, guys, the implications for the Premier League are absolutely huge, because suddenly now, your Sheffield Uniteds, your Wolves, your United, your Spurs will be sniffing blood and saying we can actually get, you know, potentially get a Champions League spot, not only for this season, but obviously for subsequent seasons, because obviously if they're not going to be involved in the next 2 seasons, then next season, suddenly Manchester City, you'd expect, will probably finish in the top 4 of their quality. 5th place effectively, assuming City finish in the top 4 this season, which they will, and next season, 5th place is effectively now a Champions League place. And like I said, that has huge, huge implications for the Premier League, for likes of Sheffield, for likes of Tottenham, you know, etc., etc. Now, implications for Manchester United. What are the implications now, guys, for Manchester United Football Club? Sorry, give me 2 seconds. Get this up. Implications for Manchester United. Please, please, please like the vid, share, and subscribe to REDEVILSTUDIO if you're new to the channel, and also drop a like so we can get the vid. Okay, implications for Manchester United Football Club for this ban. Well, well. How the tide has turned. What are the implications for Manchester United Football Club right now? Well, I know somebody who is going to be very, very happy at seeing this news, even though he's not really going to sort of say any of it, and that's this man, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, after, you know, this news effectively saves Solskjaer's job. If this goes through, and assuming Solskjaer can get at least 5th, because now it will be a question of getting 5th. Now it'll be a question of getting 5th in the CL spot. We've also got the Europa League, got players coming back. Suddenly, right now, if 5th spot is basically what we need to aim for, well, suddenly now Manchester United, if we look at the table, we go back to the table. Suddenly, Manchester United are only 3 points away from it. Was it? Yep. United are only 3 points. Yep, 35, 39, 3 points. Well, 35, no, my math. 4 points, sorry. 4 points away from Sheffield United. That's mountable. If we lose against Chelsea, then it's like, oh, can we really catch up with Chelsea? But 5th, 4 points from 5th, that's still doable. That is still doable here. And suddenly, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has a job again. Lauren Krasnaki says now City will focus next 2 seasons to win the league. It's the point that I mentioned before in regards to implications for Manchester City. So Lauren Krasnaki is that the issue here. Good evening, sir. The issue with City is that if I'm a player, because City clearly will have to strengthen for the upcoming season because Liverpool is so good and Liverpool is strengthening. But if you're a top-class player, why would you, like, for example, let's say a Sancho or whatever, why would you want to go to a team that's now not going to play in the CL for 2 seasons? So City will not be able to attract the players that they would normally be able to attract because they can't offer Champions League football anymore, which will inevitably weaken City, which will mean that other teams like Chelsea and United and Spurs will strengthen, and Liverpool, of course, will strengthen. So like I said, this is big. This is very, very, very big. And as far as Manchester United is concerned, Rasmus A says Ollie's job might be saved by this. I agree. I agree. If he gets 5th, because if we assume that City this upholds and the next City obviously get top 4 and United get into 5th, then we only need to get 4 points now, and 5th is it. 5th is it. Raymond Moore says, if the money comes from the owner of our businesses, what's wrong spending that money on the club? I don't understand about the policy. Raymond Moore. Okay, so yeah, that's a good point, and I put this out here actually. If the money comes, this is a good question to deal with. If the money comes to owners of our businesses, what's wrong spending that money on the club? I don't understand about the policy. So the issue here is that, from what I understand about financial fair play, and this is why it's called financial fair play, is the idea that the money that you're supposed to spend on transfers, specifically on transfers and what have you, it's based on the money. It's supposed to be tied to the money that you generate as a football club. That's why it's fair play. So, for example, if Manchester United, let's say we generate £1 billion worldwide, okay, and we then spend, let's say, 10% of that, so that's 100 million. That's fine. Okay, because we generate £100 billion from shirts, etc. And spending 100 million, that is perfectly fine. That's okay. So because of the amount we generate. But if this club generates from the ticket revenue, from sales, from all the rest of it, only say £500 million, and then still spends £100 million, well, then that's a problem. Or more, like double, £200 million. Well, that's a problem because they're not that money that they're spending is not coming from money that they generate as a football club. Because you can imagine this creates unfair. It can create an unfair disadvantage from other clubs, smaller clubs, bigger clubs, and it basically means that clubs essentially it disincentivizes countries, oligarchs, high businessmen. Because if you think about it, if there was no financial fair play rule, then countries could buy clubs, then major big businesses could buy clubs and spend whatever amount they want, and it would destroy the game. It would completely disadvantage teams, small teams, big teams, and it would just ruin the game. And that's why UEFA and a lot of clubs put this in place so that it creates some sort of parity. So that way, the money that you spend should be generated from the money that you spend. Should be generated money that you generate, not from the money that just comes from the owners. So that's a kind of a loose explanation. Friesa Madeira says Guardiola is welcome to Juventus. I'm sure he is, because it seems that Juve fans are cussing sorry right now. Dipico says, is the information real? It is real. And I mentioned again, this is real. If you go to the BBC Sport website, it should be linked in the description. It is very much real. It's been reported by multiple UK outlets. This is very, very much real. Gamer King says, if you think about it, there's a chance McTominay could play against Sergio Ramos at the Bernabeu, Sheffield United. This news saved European football. That is true. That is actually true. I think a lot. I don't think there's going to be many people that will be that are how should I say that are upset, frankly, at this news. I think a lot of people, a lot of fans, a lot of pundits, certainly a lot of Manchester United fans, including myself, are very happy about this news because of the fact that Manchester City effectively went from a second division team to a nobody team in basically a couple of seasons, and started winning leagues, started winning championships, with without any real just with money, with backing. And of course, they brought in good coaches. Pep Guardiola is a very, very good coach, and I think he deserves what he deserves to get. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that City don't deserve to have won those titles based on the scintillating football that they play. However, at the end of the day, they've still breached the rules, and their rules are in place to provide parity between the clubs in Europe, and that's what UEFA have done, irrespective of what Manchester City say. So, like I said, guys, to me, this is huge news. Keep your comments coming, because I am curious what everyone thinks about this, because from a Manchester United point of view, this essentially saves our season. Potentially. I mean, we could still go from worse to worse. Manchester United could continue to drop further and further on the table if Ollie doesn't basically step up. But the reality is that if we didn't need any incentive, if United did not need any more incentive enough that their biggest rivals are now in the midst of a transfer ban, and that we can't gaming mods, how are you doing? Hey, and that we can't take advantage of that. We can't use that to stir ourselves up and really fight to get our Champions League spot. Then honestly, we don't deserve it. If we can't use this motivation to really, 25 people watching, please like the vid, really appreciate it, guys. If everyone likes the vid and subscribes to Red Devil Studio. Let's see, this is breaking news coming from BBC Sport, Sky Sports, from UEFA officially, that Manchester City will be banned from the Champions League for the next 2 seasons. United have to be on this. We really need to be on this. 4th place was increasingly going to be a struggle, but now 5th place is reasonable now. 5th place looks like it's reasonable. It looks like something that Manchester United, could certainly achieve, and hopefully do achieve, if I'm perfectly honest. Let me know what you think about this in the comments as well, guys, because and I'll start to maybe sort of wrap things up, but I think it's curious. I'm curious because, to be honest, I'm actually so what I'm curious about, from my point of view, from my perspective, is actually how this will affect City. I already know the implications of the Premier League, and I already know the implications of United, what we have to do. Because effectively, United, we just have to crack on. We know what we have to do. Continue winning our games, push for top 4. We get 4th, great. If we get 5th, awesome, because we've got a Champions League spot. But I'm curious to see how this will affect City. If this stands, which I think it will, I am curious to see how this will affect Manchester City, guys, because, is this the end of Manchester City in a way? Not the end, but I mean, the dynasty almost. And in a sense, is this the beginning of the Liverpool dynasty? Now, here's a question. Actually, in fact, let's talk about that. Is this... Sorry. Is this the beginning of the Liverpool dynasty? Let me know what you think in the comments, because let's be real, guys. Let's be real for a second. Manchester United are no condition. In comments, wouldn't that mean it would gaming more? But wouldn't that mean it would affect City? Yeah, of course it's going to affect City. Yeah, of course it's going to affect. This is important. This is an important question, especially for United fans here. This is a very important question. Is this now the beginning of a Liverpool dynasty for the Premier League? Because, as I said at the start of the video, what a lot of people don't get is that, yes, of course, if City are banned from the Champions League for 2 seasons, yes, of course, they're now going to have, they will now they will now focus on the Premier League. Okay, yeah, great. But the reality is that Liverpool, that City, in terms of getting the big players to Manchester City, no one is going to come in terms of big players. They are not going to come from Manchester City. Sorry, what am I trying to say here? Let me get my words out correct. Yes. Top players like your Mbappes, like your Sanchos, whatever, they want to play in the Champions League. Okay? They will want to play in the Champions League. And you are not going to get top players. Okay, even Pogba was frustrated because it's like, I expected to play in the CL, I expected to win trophies. I didn't get that. I'm not getting that from City. Top players will not want to come to City in the transfer window because they've got a transfer ban for 2 seasons. So potentially, Liverpool's closest rival in terms of competing for the league will now be stunted. United, let's be real, are far, far, far from challenging for the Premier League. Chelsea, possibly. I think the judge is still out on Lampard as a manager, as a coach, especially with how inconsistent they are. Maybe if they strengthen the transfer window, who knows? Spurs, again, inconsistent. The jury's still out on Mourinho. Leicester City with Brendan Rodgers, possibly, maybe if they strengthen. But really, when you're looking at where Liverpool are and the fact that they will strengthen in the summer and the fact that they will go to defend, Liverpool's closest challenger was City, and now essentially they're gone. And now, just answer some of your questions, your comments here. Emmanuel Remen says, "What took Uefa so long?" I think they just, I don't know. I think it's all the investigation process, etc. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if PSG even got announced, soon. So we'll see. Ibrahim Salo says, "Did you think we can still finish 5th after Ole doesn't have standard first team in place? 5th is more attainable than 4th. If we lose to Chelsea and catch my Chelsea preview as well, by the way, because that is incoming, that is incoming. We will, if we lose, we'll be quite some distance. We're about 9 points, I think, from Chelsea, but we'll only be 4 points from 5th. So at the end of the day, 5th is more obtainable than 4th. But I do expect or do anticipate, that we will push for 4th anyway. Games most likely, yes. And especially Ibrahim with the likes of Garlo and Fernandes there. If this isn't, like I said earlier, incentive for Manchester United and for Solskjaer to clock on, because essentially this ruling has potentially kept Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in a job. Because if Solskjaer gets Champions League football this season, he's not going to be sacked. I'll tell you now, if Solskjaer gets Champions League football this season, he is not going to be sacked. Just hear some, so most likely, I think a lot of people say this. Chris C says, Pep's not going to hang around if City are the seal. Exactly. It's like I said earlier, if you wind the vid, it puts pressure on Manchester City to win the Champions League this season. It puts pressure on Pep to win the Champions League this season. And of course, I just can't see Pep Guardiola. I can't see him staying at Manchester City. If he gets an offer from Juve and they're willing to pay him, he's obviously under contract for another year. If he gets an offer from PSG potentially, imagine if Dortmund, for example, knock out PSG. I wouldn't be surprised if Tuchel gets sacked, and suddenly Pep Guardiola is a front runner of PSG. And to be honest, a Pep run PSG side with like some Mbappe, Neymar is very, very dangerous in my opinion. But we'll see. Raymond Moore says, does this ban mean that City cannot sign players anymore? No. It doesn't mean that City can't sign players. It doesn't mean that at all. But why bring the player situation is that they can sign players, but they will have to sign players that are going to be happy not playing in the CL. And for me, top world-class players will want to play in the Champions League. So, you want to play in a team that will play in the Champions League. You don't want to be waiting 2 years, to play in the CL. And of course, that's assuming 2 years from time that City actually even qualify for the CL. Gamer King, my prediction for the future: City have now been banned. Pep will go to Juve. Players will leave City. Liverpool continue to be dominant and sign Sancho. That's not a bad prediction. And I won't be surprised if players do start to leave City. I mean, to be honest, the likes of like Leroy Sané wants to go. You've got Aguero and David Silva coming towards the end of their tenure. Otamendi's banter. There are a few key players that might end up leaving Manchester City, you know, as a result of this, or want to leave potentially. And like I said, it looks like if this ruling stands, that potentially this is the sort of the end of what I would call the Man City dynasty. Okay, whatever dynasty it will be, you know, the fact that they won titles, not the CL, but they won a lot of Premier League titles in such a short period of time. And now this is the beginning, unfortunately, as a Manchester United fan, of the Liverpool dynasty. I think if we're not careful, you'll see a Liverpool side that will win multiple titles, that will go from strength to strength. Liverpool this season could easily go undefeated, win the CL, win the FA Cup, win a domestic, and win a treble. And next season, they could essentially go completely unchallenged because Manchester City not being able to strengthen with top players in a transfer window. It's gonna be bad. Gamer King, sorry, Chelsea will be good again. Sign players and spend big, being Liverpool new challengers. I think the jury is still out. 30 people watching. Thank you guys so much. Please like the video, share and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. We're having videos coming regularly. Chelsea be good again. I think the jury's still out on Lampard. I think we'll see. You know, it's possible the players they slide in, but I think they're still too inconsistent, in my opinion. Gamer King, and so United will be struggling, but after 2 years they'll finally fix their well. Who knows about United, to be honest. I really have no faith in our board right now. Emmanuel, if Pep goes, then Pochettino could go to City and you might get stuck with Oli. That is a very good point. That's a very good point in Pochettino. Well, it's what I said earlier, Emmanuel, is that Pep at United, oof, wow, that is that is something. I'll talk about that. I'll briefly talk about that, but I'll bring you to Emmanuel Ramirez. Yeah, ask questions away, brother. Ask questions away. If Pep, oh, by the way, smash the notification button. Smash the notification button to be notified of latest United videos and news, especially when we go live, because we do a lot of these live shows, and I really appreciate you got interacting with you guys. If Pep goes to Pochettino, so it's like I said, Ramirez, is that the reality is if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gets top 4 this season, then it doesn't matter. He's not gonna be sacked. He's not gonna be sacked. So for me, the decisions will be made at the end of the season. So if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at the end of the season does not get Champions League football, I think United will be on it and they will go and get Pochettino or Man City try and appeal this process, because they are in the process of appealing this process, the court arbitration. So I don't think Pep is going anywhere, and Pep does still have technically a year left on his contract. So it would be, so the reality is that for Pep to leave the end of the season, either City has to sack him or another club comes in and basically buys him out of his contract. So that's the only way that things can happen, you know. So in that sense, Pochettino, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does not get top 4 or Champions League football, Pochettino United is still very much on. But, you know, for all intents and purposes, there's a possibility that he could go to City, possibly. And in answer to Chris's question, would I take Pep at United? I would take Pep at United in a heartbeat. Let's be real. If you're going to tell me Pep Guardiola is coming to Manchester United, you know, so of course I would take Pep Guardiola. Of course, would Pep Guardiola? So I'm taking this. Would Pep Guardiola, after managing City, come to Manchester United? I guess it's possible. I've got one dislike to this video. It's probably a Manchester City fan. Would 30 people watching, guys, 10 likes. Come on, like the video, like the video if you can. Would Pep Guardiola come to Manchester United, having managed Manchester City? I don't think it's like a Liverpool United sort of thing. I certainly think that if Pep was available and Pep was keen to go to United, then he would. But Pep doesn't strike me as the type of manager who does rebuilding projects. He doesn't do rebuilding projects. And Manchester United die in need of a rebuilding project. So I don't think that I'd be surprised if he came. But if he did come, I don't think you see many Manchester United fans complaining, especially if he, because the reality is, as well as that, from a FFP point of view, he's not going to have those issues at Manchester United. United would give Pep absolutely anything. They would. They would. Ibrahim such as make Oli club director and get Poch. He's not going to make club director, and to be honest, it doesn't have experience as a club director. If I'm perfectly honest. Raymond Moore says, I still think Oli will stay next season despite not winning anything and not top four. The board trusts his vision. Possibly, maybe. It's possible. I still have a hunch because this was the same words that the board were backing Mourinho and Van Gaal. And at the end of the season, when Van Gaal got sacked, even though he won an FA Cup, and obviously Mourinho got sacked, they didn't know about it. So I don't trust the whole kind of, oh yeah, we're backing him, we see his vision, blah, 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 unless it's just because obviously he's cheap. Pep would gain more respect by winning the CL with United, with the history and with Man City. He absolutely would. He absolutely would. And I say, I don't think that there'll be any Manchester United demand. Let me know, by the way, without going to City, let me know, guys, in the comments, do you think, like I said, that this is the beginning of the Liverpool dynasty? Because I just feel with a weak Manchester City side, that you basically do not get, Liverpool have very little, if any, resistance regarding the Premier League and even the Champions League, frankly. And I'll just bring up the article again for just those who are coming in with the breaking news that Manchester are being banned from the CL for the next 2 seasons by UEFA. Just again, Mario SV says, Arsenal are so happy for that Man City are banned. I'm sure they are. I think you could argue that maybe Arsenal, if you're an Arsenal fans probably now see, if we go back to the table again, I'll show you everyone the stakes in the table. Let me just get it up here. If you're an Arsenal fan, and at the many, you've got first 31 points. And so suddenly, it's still a bit, let's be frank, Arsenal fans, or you've got a game in hand. If you win that, 34 points, then suddenly, if you have to get 5th, Arsenal, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points from 5th. You know, I think they probably will win against Newcastle at home. So if they win against Newcastle at home, suddenly Newcastle are 5 points from Sheffield United to win 5th place. Although Spurs obviously get to play. So it's I think this makes the season, you know, we're talking about the Premier League and how it's a terrible league and terrible season that's been boring because Liverpool won it. But I think this actually makes the season much more intriguing. Intriguing. Emmanuel Williams says, I believe Pep said he would never go to United or Madrid. Fair enough. So that rules that out, basically. 37 people watching. Thanks everyone for watching. Please like the vid, and please subscribe to your man, Old Man G, to Red Devil Studio. I'd really appreciate it. Everyone has a price, though, Emmanuel. Everyone has a price. Ibrahim, Ollie's good transfer. He brings in good and hungry players. But Poch is more experienced than I assume in Ollie. It's the thing about Ollie. A lot of people say he's bringing in. He's had one transfer window, and the reality is that all the signings he's brought in were scouted before he actually came to Manchester United Football Club. Wan-Bissaka was scouted before he came. Maguire was scouted. Even Bruno Fernandes was scouted before he came. And Daniel James was more a recommendation from Giggs. So, you know, the only real player for me was Haaland, and he didn't get him. So I don't know. I would still rather an experienced director of football if I'm perfectly honest. Mario Sp, Man City will have the worst season, winning no trophies this year. Well, they could potentially win the Carabao Cup. I mean, I think they're in the it's Manchester City versus Aston Villa in the Carabao Cup. So they've got a Carabao Cup. So there you go. They probably will win the Carabao Cup final. So hey ho, they've got a Carabao Cup. They're still in the FA Cup, obviously, and they're still in Champions League. So you know they might win a domestic double, an FA Cup and a Carabao Cup. Who knows? Rashford Verma says Liverpool domination for years to come. This is what concerns me, guys. For me, you know, for what people say about City, I mean, the biggest concern for me about this is the fact that Liverpool domination is imminent. Okay, with City, let's be real. City are right now the strongest team, and they have been in the last couple of seasons to rival Liverpool. Okay, United are nowhere near it. Chelsea are quite inconsistent at the moment, and Spurs are taking a bit of a dip. Without the strength of City, I think you're seeing a Liverpool domination potentially in the next 2 seasons. You know, if Liverpool win the league the next 2 seasons, not only will they, and this is what's so painful, guys, if you're a United fan watching this, if Liverpool win the Premier League the next 2 seasons, they will surpass Manchester United's total tally for Premier League seasons. They will surpass the back-to-back, as in triple back-to-back Premier League winning titles that Manchester United obviously did. And on top of that, there's a potential that they win the treble. You know, Liverpool potentially could become the biggest club in the world, the biggest club in England, the biggest club with history, because Manchester City are now no longer in the race. And that is very, 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 very concerning if you're a Manchester United fan watching. If you're an Arsenal fan even watching, you know, Arsenal essentially becomes irrelevant at this point as well. So, yeah, dangerous times indeed. Dangerous times indeed. Keep your comments going, guys. Just interact with the comments, because I'm really curious about what everyone thinks about this story and the implications it has on City, on Pep, on Ole, on United, on the Premier League. Maybe on Sheffield United, the Sheffield United fans maybe thinking, great, we could be Sheffield United, could be playing Real Madrid next year. Who knows? Chrissy, Liverpool, Mario SV, Liverpool are not the type of team that score a lot of goals. They just have some knock on their side, winning every time. Yeah, I think that's half true. They've not been scoring that many goals this season compared to previous, but they've been defensively sound. So, and that's what you need. That's your strong defense is what wins you trophies. Scoring tons of goals is great, like Dortmund, but if you can't not concede, then you know then it's pointless. Really, it is. Smiley Frame, what up, bro? Welcome back, buddy. Do you still think United can end above Chelsea? I don't think so personally. Well, like I said, and this is the thing, is that we need to beat Chelsea obviously this weekend. Now we will a pre-recorded preview that'll be coming in. I'll be dropping that either Sunday or Monday morning. Check that out, guys. We will have a couple of videos coming in. I'll be doing a combined United Chelsea 11 video, a preview for the Chelsea game, and then basically a regular segment on this channel, which will be a top 10 Manchester United player chart sort of thing that I'll be doing weekly. So stay tuned if you're United fans, and check out our Red Devil Studio live podcast on the channel where we talk about European football teams, Premier League. We just discuss everything around the footballing world, and that's usually Mondays at about 8:30 to 9 o'clock. So smash the notification button to get notified when we go live, because we will be going live with a lot of breaking football news. But yeah, in answer to your question, buddy, it's possible because Chelsea are inconsistent. And to be honest, I think that we can go to Chelsea and actually some region win. Chelsea's home record is not great, and we've already beaten Chelsea twice this season with a banter team. So there you go. Raymond Moore, if Oli get replaced, we get Sancho and a few other more. Man United can still compete with Liverpool. I refuse to accept that this decade belongs to Liverpool. If we don't get top 4 Champions League football, we're definitely not getting Sancho, Raymond. And as far as this decade belongs to Liverpool, I refuse it too. But it is a concern for any United fan, for any Premier League fan, because they have a very good coach. Klopp has renewed his contract for another 5 years. So he's going to be there for a while. So, you know, I'd be very concerned. I'd be very concerned. It could be a Liverpool nation. Who do you think is better? Bishram says, who do you think is better, Arsenal or Spurs? Right now, I think they're both banter because they're a bit inconsistent, but I like the way that Arteta plays football. And I think that if he gets the right players and he gets backing, he could do well. So I think on playing, Arsenal are better, but Spurs are just grinding out the results. So that's my take on that. Smiley Flame, Chelsea will end Liverpool domination next year. Zia can come inside. Chelsea will compete with Paul. It's possible. It's possible, Smiley Flame. It is possible. I agree it's possible. But the only thing is that it's just the jury's still on Lampard, in my opinion. You know, and Chelsea seems to be still seems to be quite inconsistent. The defense, we'll see. I just think that what can stop Liverpool right now? I just don't know. I just think that we'll see. We'll see. But I think that Chelsea is still quite a while from competing with Liverpool, and I think their game against Bayern Munich will be an interesting scenario to see, obviously, whether they will or not. Ibrahim Solo says it will be a very good season since City are banned from the Champions League, but we have to spend wisely after the up and down of Man United. Man United must let Pogba go because he wants to make the name for him to go. I agree, Ibrahim. I do think that we do need to let Pogba go and use that money and spend that wisely and invest that money on getting new players. Which I see no reason why we can't. The thing, though, is that do you trust the board to do that? The United's issue goes higher up in the players. It comes to the hierarchy that continue to basically be a joke. To be perfectly honest. Egshan says cheating. Are you referring to why City got banned? It's not cheating. It's financial fair. Well, you could argue it is cheating technically, but it's financial fair play. Financial fair play. For some people watching, guys, please like the vid, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio and smash the notification button as well. I'd really, really appreciate it. We have a sister channel as well called the Football Studio. So if you want to subscribe to that, I'll be posting my non-Manchester United related news on that channel, Premier League videos, European videos, etc. So thanks for the support. Chrissy, we'll wrap it up. There's almost an hour gone, so I'll probably wrap things up around the hour mark. So because I have other things to do. Seeing Liverpool doing well pains me as much as any other United fan, Chris Caesar, but you have to give the board respect because they gave the manager something that no clubs give their managers, and that's time. That's true. I think that's it's more complicated than that because I know what you're trying to say, Chris, and I think what you're trying to say is that we should give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer time, and I think Liverpool, I think Pep Guardiola is, Klopp, the situation in Liverpool is different for a couple of reasons. I think one, it's clear the philosophy, the type of football that Klopp wants to play. Okay, Klopp is an experienced manager for a start. He won a Premier League with Dortmund, a Bundesliga with Dortmund, and he got them to a Champions League final with a Dortmund side that were essentially nothing before he came. So that's experience number one. Klopp also has a style of football, and he's never drifted from that philosophy, but he has adapted the philosophy. So he knew coming to Premier season, yep, scoring goals, high line, great, but you know what? We also need to defend. So that's the thing with Klopp. Experience, good manager, philosophy, and adaptation. From the board point of view, the board invested wisely. Okay, they sold players that didn't want to be there. They got money from Coutinho, and they reinvested that money on players to fit the manager's philosophy. So they didn't just go out and buy world-class players and just dump them and hope that they'll just gel or figure out a position for them to play, or buy a player and then put that player like we've done with Daniel James, who was a left winger. And I said, okay, you're going to play on the right now. They bought players for Klopp to fit in the system that he wanted to play, to fit in the style he wanted to play. And then, of course, the board gave him time because they could see the results. He got into a Europa League final. Okay, yes, they lost. He brought them back into the top four. He got them to obviously Champions League final in the previous season, which they lost, unfortunately. People forget that Liverpool got to the Champions League final of the previous season. If they won that game, because let's be frank, it was Karius. Had they won it, they'd be on 2 CLs now. And obviously the following season, they got a CL, not the Premier League. Now, this season, they essentially got the Premier League wrapped up, and they're potentially on form for a treble. So Klopp, they've clearly seen the progression that Klopp has given, which with Ole with a year and a bit, it's difficult. It's difficult. So I'll leave it at that. Just reading some more of your comments, guys. Last time I checked, Liverpool scored 60 goals in the league only. City scored more. Yep. Well, yeah. So that's answered the goal question. I can't see Pep staying 2 seasons well up the CL, says Somali Flame. I've already said that. Raymond Moore again, so with City out of competition for Champions League next season, we still have the competition from Watford, Spurs, Arsenal. Of course we do. And that's why I said the incentive for Manchester United is clear, because now we have 4th and 5th to go for. And if we can't get that, then frankly, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can't get fifth, because we were what? We were sixth. We were sixth last season. If he can't get fifth with this squad, because the prediction I said at the start of the season that United were going to get top four of this squad, fifth place most likely. If he can't go from sixth to fifth with the multiple opportunities that we've had to even be in the top four, then let's be real. Pochettino needs to come in. I'm sorry. Ibrahim, Manchester United must still clear Jones, Pereira, Mata, Marshall, and other players to make room. Well, I don't think we're going to be able to clear all those players. And some of those players I feel will need to stay, like Martial. Memo says Wolves. Just Dope Movements Photography says, sorry, 10-point deduction in EPL as well. Where is that? Oh, sorry, as well. Will the EPL follow? Oh, is that so? That's not confirmed. Sorry. I said, no. The EPL and the FA are not going to follow UEFA. Oh, 47 people watching. Thanks everyone was watching, guys. Please like the vid. I'd really appreciate it. Like the vid and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. We do cover oftentimes non-Manchester United based news. So if you are not a Manchester United fan, still please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification button, because we do talk a lot about myself and others regarding other teams in Europe, other news, etc. The 10 points, I think this 10-point deduction thing is I don't think that's confirmed. I think that's just will the EPL give a 10-point deduction? Let me just quickly Google, see. I don't think it's, if someone can confirm in the comments, let me know. But if that's a 10-point deduction, well, it doesn't make any sense this season. I mean, it's pointless this season because oh, wait, hold up. Yeah, I'm reading. Wait, let's have a look. What's it saying here? Okay, I'll show you guys I'll show you guys the BBC News article that I'm reading, which I think shows it, because this is the reaction. So this is the article I'm reading here. So obviously this is the Man City article here. The club has issued a statement, blah blah blah, flawless. So what our City alleged to have done? UEFA launched an investigation after German newspaper Der Spiegel published leaked documents in November 2018. Oops, sorry. Back here, 2018. That City had inflated the value of a sponsorship deal. Okay, misleading European football's governing bodies. This is 2018, so this is what, 2 years ago. Reports allege City, who have always done wrongdoing, deliberately misled UEFA so they could meet FFP rules regarding clubs to break even. City were fined for a previous breach of regulations. So that's another thing. Maybe it's also a initial offense as well. Whoa. 52 people watching, guys. Please like the vid, share and subscribe to Red Devils. It's been one of our most popular streams so far. So really appreciate everyone coming in and getting involved. Just to clarify for people who are for fair, but this is maybe where the points deduction comes in here. Financial fair play is by UEFA to prevent clubs in its competition from spending beyond their means, okay, and stamp out what it's then presently called financial doping within football. So that's why I was saying about the idea of the amount that clubs should be spending is what they should be generating. Okay, it should be coming from the owners, whether that's a country, oligarch, or whatever. The money that should be invested, that should be spent in order to maintain fair play, should be coming from what the club generates, not from what the owner invests. Under the rules, financial losses are limited, and clubs obliged to meet all their transfer point payments. Blah blah. Companies to balance the books, as you can see. The CFPC set up by UEFA has the ultimate sanction of banning clubs from UEFA competition with other potential punishment, including warnings, fines, withholding prize money, transfer bans, point deductions, a ban on registering new players, and yeah. So I think that in regards to point deductions, I think that's what people are saying. I think that's only, in the Champions. So possibly, maybe, if it was a group stage or whatever, or European competition, then that made effect. But I think the EFL and the FA are separate, and they will obviously deal things differently. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't think the EFL or the Premier League will have any plans on really dealing with further punishment of Manchester City, at this moment in time. It just is what it is. Like I said, I highly doubt that they would go on. Rob Huddleston, CFC, it seems to be is a Chelsea fan, I presume, says, congrats Liverpool from a Chelsea fan. Roman Moore says, will Ighalo play against Chelsea, mate? There is, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did talk in his press conference. It does seem that Ighalo will be involved. Whether he'll start or not, I don't know, but it looks like Ighalo will actually be involved. Raymond's, I thought City's always been big every season. Why now they get banned? Well, this is due to this is actually due to an issue in 2018. So lots of these, like with a lot of things, and let me just where's my cup? I can't see it. Anyway, it's fine. Like with a lot of these things, a lot of these things take time. These are investigations. They take time. They take a lot of time to go. And this incident happened in 2018, possibly a previous incident in 2014. So this is possibly a repeated offence, which is maybe why UEFA also wants to clamp down on this sort of situation as well. But I mean, maybe PSG might also obviously be up next, because obviously UEFA been hovering around PSG, and I wouldn't be surprised if they get involved as well. I'd argue Barcelona should be investigated, considering that they spent about 500 million, 600 million plus in the last two and a half seasons. But again, Barcelona are one of the biggest clubs in the world and generate a lot of money, so it's probably still fine. Messi probably generates that amount of money a year by himself in shirt sales. So you don't know. One last thing, and this is one last thing because our string, so I'm probably going to have to head off fairly soon. One last thing: Liverpool have already won the Super Cup, the Club World Cup. We're in the line for a quintuple. Yes, you are actually a quintuple. A quintuple is a call it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course. They beat Chelsea in the Super Cup, and then the Club World Cup they won. So yes, I assume you're a Liverpool fan. They certainly are in for the quintuple. I mean, I don't think anyone really counts the big prize is obviously the Champions League, and obviously the domestic cup that you have as well. But yeah, I mean, Liverpool. Liverpool. So you're essentially saying that Liverpool could essentially have got the quintuple, but also Liverpool could also go the season unbeaten. I just think that's it's just absolutely staggering. Like I said, it concerns me as a Manchester United fan. It really, really does. Stuff like this, as you can see, stuff like this in this article, as you can see, it's very, very concerning because of how this essentially gives Liverpool will not have a challenge anymore. They will not be challenged by any team, essentially because of the lack of competition for Manchester City. And obviously this will not impact Liverpool, but also the league as well. The flip side to that is that you might get other teams like a Wolves, like a Sheffield United, etc., getting involved. Like I said at the start of the stream, as much as I want United to obviously get into the Champions League, and they should, suddenly, I mean, what story would it be for the league if a Sheffield United or even a Wolves get the 5th spot and suddenly get a Champions League spot? It'd be crazy. Just by the way, I'll make a note. It isn't 100% confirmed that obviously that will be the case. So, but most likely it will be the case. Most likely it will be the case. 63 people watching. Oh my goodness! Thank you guys so much. So many people involved in the stream. Please post your comments and please get involved. And more importantly, please like the vid, share the vid, and subscribe down below to Red Devil Studio. Smash the notification button for the latest Manchester United news. Like I said, I know that a lot of non-Manchester United fans watching. We do cover non-Manchester United content on this channel and a sister channel, the Football Studio, and we do a weekly podcast called Red Devil Studio Live, which is Mondays 9 p.m. UK time, where we discuss a lot of the news from around the Premier League, from around Europe, It's a very, very good show. Very good friends on it, and we love a lot of you guys to get involved. It's open as well, so you can come in on the studio to have your say, etc., and then basically get involved. So yeah, please smash the notification button and please get involved in Medal. So we want more people involved and want to build up this community as well. So please do get involved. Klopp, Somali Flame says Klopp deserves more respect for what he did with Paul. I'm out of respect for Jurgen Klopp, and I would have loved Jurgen Klopp at Manchester United, but he just wasn't. It wasn't the right time. Unfortunately, it just wasn't. But I would love Jurgen Klopp at Manchester United. I would have loved him. It's a shame that he's gone to Liverpool now. Ibrahim, I hope we use Monday match to close the 6 point because we need Champions football, and I hope Oli will drop Pereira from starting lineup. We'll see about Pereira being in the starting lineup. As far as before, irrespective, the reality is that as a United fan in particular, irrespective of what its news is, United still have to push for top 4. We still have to push. We still have to win games. We still have to improve because now that Solskjaer has obviously bought Fernandes, we obviously got a Gala win, and we'd be getting our injuries back. We need to obviously push on. I don't think this news should affect the way that Manchester United play football now. We have to play good football, and I don't think that this news should determine whether Oli stays in the job or not. However, this will be more as like a surprise, a bonus, if at the end of the season that United basically go, oh, okay, yeah, well, we finished 5th. Oh, that's great. It's good. It's okay. We've got a Champions League spot. Now, the only thing I will say about that is that it's not 100% confirmed yet in terms of that 5th spot going to a English team. So there is the small chance, possible chance, that England will just have 3 teams. But I think that would be unfair. I don't think UEFA will go down that long line. And I think, obviously, if we're talking about financial fair play, it makes sense to award that spot to a team that has abided by their financial fair play regulations, whether that's a United, a Spurs, a Wolves, a Sheffield United, etc. Raymond Moore says, this is what happens when club owners are forced to sign top players with huge price tags just to satisfy the fans. Same with us United fans. Do you mean City? It's fine if you generate the money, though. That's the thing. That's the thing about financial fair play, is that you can spend United can spend £200 million on getting Mbappe, for example, because they generate that money worldwide. So can Real Madrid, so can Barcelona. Messi's shirt sales alone. Think of how many shirts, how much money Messi shirt sales generate for Barcelona. It will be in excess of 100 million. So Messi shirt sales alone will generate the money. So if you're generating more than that, then it's fine. Of course you can spend 200. Utene says Juventus. There are a lot of Juve fans here, man. Let Juve fans in the comments. And if you're, let me know, guys. If you're a fan of another EPL team, not United, but maybe a PSG or Juventus, would you have Pep Guardiola at your side? Because I've seen a few Juventus fans in here saying we would welcome Pep. A lot of Juventus fans wanting Pep Guardiola to come to Serie A to manage them. Is Sarri really that bad? We'll probably talk about it on the podcast. But is Sarri really that bad? Are you really wanting Sarri out? So he's still in the Champions League. He's still competing for Serie A, So would you really? Is Sarri really that bad? Otta says, yes, yes, definitely. I don't think there's any team that would not want Pep Guardiola in their side. And like I said, please, if everyone's watching, please like the video. I think we're 18 likes, something like that. 65 people watching. Come on, guys. Let's push those likes to at least 25 likes, 30 likes even on this vid, if you can, and really appreciate it. Please do. Ho Spat says Pep back to Barca. Well, possibly, but I mean they've just appointed someone now. So this Citizen guy who's just literally just come in. So it would be a bit harsh on that guy to just basically sack him, then to bring Pep Guardiola in. I think that'd be I welcome Pep at Chelsea, but I don't mind giving Lampard more time. Pep Guardiola going to Chelsea. He make them unstoppable, and no doubt about that. We tend to see on Sarri. Sarri's not bad. The problem is Fabio Paratici, the team is not that good. Not enough quality. Fabio Paratici, is that the sports director or the owner? Sorry, just to clarify that. Just let me know. But I see a lot of people are tuned in, so I think I'm gonna still be live. Give me 2 minutes, guys. 2 minutes. I'm gonna just quickly get a drink, and I'll be back in 2 seconds. Sorry, everyone. I didn't know if I'd be live for this long, so my throat has gotten a bit dry. Oh, that's good. That's good water. You need water. Yeah. Okay. So now I can speak. Oh, I feel a lot better now. Okay. Yes, sports director. Okay, fine. Yeah. I mean, well, that's the same issue at Manchester United, isn't it? So, you know, although Juventus have brought in lots of good players in, haven't they not? So, but to be continued, I think, is the question with this. To be continued is the question, because I don't know, guys. I mean, in conclusion, I am happy. I'm very happy. Very happy that finally there's been a bit of justice done, because I think that it's been unfair, very unfair, that Manchester City were able to get away with, well, essentially breaching FFP for so long without any repercussions. And finally, they're getting the consequence of their actions. It's as simple as that. And I hope that PSG, the owners of PSG, follow suit. I think this is great from a United point of view, in the sense that, you know, this does maybe take a bit of pressure off the United squad. It takes a bit of pressure off Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but we still need to push on further. But at the same time, and this is why I'm mixed, this also means potentially that Liverpool, for the next couple of years, will be very dominant, because they're one of their greatest rivals. I'm not saying that, and don't get me wrong, guys, I'm not saying that next season City are going to just capitulate. You know, they're going to play awful. Right now, their squad is still pretty good, you know. But like I said, I'm curious if this is confirmed. So, what will happen to Pep? You know, what will happen to the City players? Because if Pep goes, I'm sure a lot of City players, not a lot, but certain ones will follow suit. There were a lot of players who already are thinking about potentially going. And like I said, I just can't see top European talented players coming in, especially defenders, which is what City need right now, coming to Manchester City. I just can't see it. I can't. Raymond Moore says, if Pep is available, then only crazy fans would still want to keep Ollie. I mean, yeah. I mean, aside from, you know, there are some zealots, I think, that you would class them as zealots, Manchester United zealots, who would desperately hang on to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer no matter what, because he obviously scored the winning goal for us in the treble-winning season. And he will always be a legend for that. You know, him being a bad manager does not take away that goal that he scored to win us a treble at all. He will always be that. You know, he will always be the legend Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for that. But as a manager, the jury is still out. And the reality is that this news has potentially bought him some time with the board. It's bought him some time with the players, because if not for this news, you know, he could have potentially been sacked by the end of the season. This news now, at the end of the day, even if we lose against Chelsea now, you're now thinking, but fifth is achievable. Fifth is achievable. Fifth is achievable, you know? Some of my flame, with all the money spent by United by previous managers, Pep would do a miracle with United. The issue with money spent is that it hasn't been spent wisely, and the board have not bought appropriately. You know, neither of the managers. It's complicated. I'm not going to get into this video, but yes, we spend money, but the money has not been invested properly, and it's not been spent wisely. You know, unlike Liverpool, for example. Instead, I think Man U with Bruno Fernandes and maybe Sancho with this Manchester City situation can really do good things for you. Just sorry for my English, I'm Italian. No, don't worry about it, mate. like I said to everyone watching, like, although this is a Manchester United channel, we do cover a lot of non-Manchester United stuff, especially we have weekly podcasts, Radio Studio Live on Mondays, Monday evenings, UK time, where we cover a lot of non-Manchester United European football, Premier football, like Serie A, Ligue 1, La Liga, the Bundesliga. So we do talk a lot about that. And there are, and my neighboring channel, the Football Studio, will be starting up. We're posting a lot of videos on there. So just because you're not a Manchester United fan does not mean you don't have to. It does not mean you don't have to post this video. We're posting a lot more non-Manchester United content on this channel as well. So basically, what I'm saying is subscribe. That's what I'm saying. Subscribe if you can. Ibrahim Salou says signing Sancho will make Man United stronger with Rashford and Barca. I mean, like I said, and I've said this a few times on the stream already. If Sancho will only come to Manchester United, and smash that notification button as well, guys, because you would get notified when I go live as well. So so that you guys get involved. He'll only come to United if we finish top 4. Simple as that. If Raymond says if Bruyne wants out, United should really push for him. It would. I mean, let's guys. I mean, I know maybe a lot of City players might be like, oh yeah, we want to come out, etc. But the reality is that there are better teams out there than Manchester United. And honestly, I think a lot of City players, it's a lot less unreasonable to go from City to Liverpool than it is to go from City to United, and likewise from Liverpool to United. So if you're a City player, you're thinking, hang on a minute, why can't I just go and play for Liverpool? You know, I'm going to win a CL now. Kevin De Bruyne, like, yeah, I'm available. Come and get me, Jurgen Klopp. You know, so you know, if you can jump ship in Liverpool and it's a reasonable price, then maybe they'll go towards Liverpool. You know, who knows? You know, who knows? But yeah, guys, this is big. I'll end the stream here because I've got a few things to do. So, but let me know what you think, guys. Again, please like the video, share and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Thank you so much for everyone who's got involved in this live stream. We had quite a lot of people watching. I think 7 people at one point. If you are new, please show your ongoing support. Thank you so much for everyone getting involved. We do a lot of this. But yeah, guys, I mean, or breaking news, unfortunate news if you're a City fan, but great news if you're a United fan, and any fan in the Premier League. I think this is a to be continued. This is one to watch, and we will go live with further updates as we get them. But thanks everyone for watching. Really appreciate your support. Like that vid, share the vid, smash the notification button, get involved in the Red Devil Studio community. It's Old Man G here, over and out.